I'm cutting into this piece of driftwood to make a bookmark because, as a lot of you have probably seen in a previous video of mine, I made a bookmark once out of a piece of bookmark branch to conveniently and effectively mark my place in my book. And well, I ended up lending a book to a friend that still had that bookmark inside of it, and let's be honest, I'm never going to see it again. So, finding myself in need of a new bookmark, I kept thinking of the literally thousands of comments on my first video from people who were upset that I would mark my spot by writing down the page number and keeping that safe somewhere, when they thought I should just be putting the paper in the book itself each time. And hey, I'm willing to take constructive criticism, so I gave it a try. But honestly, I gotta say, it was really annoying to stop and write down the page and then turn the page and take it out and write down the new page and put it back in and then pull it out and write the new page. And honestly, it slowed me down. I ran out of space way too fast. I don't know how so many of you do it this way. But yeah, enough of you were so insistent that it was silly to make a wooden bookmark that I kept trying some of the other tried and tested methods like using an old tortilla, but I kept accidentally eating it. And even when I tried to make it very clear that this was not a tortilla but a bookmark, I don't know, it just kept happening. And yeah, just none of the methods of holding my spot in my book were working, and I was really at my wit's end, so I figured I'd finally relent. Even more of you were after me in the comments for refusing to fold over the corners of my pages and tried to convince me that creases in the corners of the book were just a sign of it being loved. So hey, I figured I'd give that a shot too. And it didn't just feel wrong to me, the book just has a hard time staying closed after a while. Again, I don't know how so many of you do this. Look, I can't be convinced otherwise. There's only one clear solution here. It's time to find a new bookmark branch and make ourselves another wooden bookmark. What's in that pile? I'll be straight with you. The pile does not have what we're looking for this time, and you can't blame it. Bookmark branches aren't a dime a dozen. You have to get out there into nature, listen to the wind and the water. Your bookmark is calling to you. So I headed back up the canyon to the island where I found my first bookmark branch, and well, the record snowpack this year has led to some severe runoff, and I was just a little too sketched out to climb all the way up into the middle of it, and I wasn't really finding the right piece there on the outskirts. But I knew that a flowing body of water was definitely the answer, so I decided to head for a different river, the mighty Colorado. I climbed onto a raft with a crew of over 20 fellow adventurers, and we trekked downstream into headwinds, through deep canyon gorges. For 5 days we floated, camping on shores, facing Class 5 rapids, searching, hunting for the perfect bookmark branch. Sometimes a candidate would actually float by the raft, only to whisper that it wasn't the one. Sometimes I'd come across one at camp, only to feel in my bones that it had no interest in saving the place in my book. Finally, somewhere between the canyons of the cataract and the once mighty glen, I found it, hiding in a mess of debris tossed ashore during the thundering rush of this year's high runoff season. Its journey could have started anywhere, but it brought it here. I have no idea what kind of wood this is, what kind of tree it came from, but hey, let's find out what it looks like inside. All right, this piece of wood is really bowed out. It's kind of thin, so let's cut it into 2 equal-sized pieces and find out if there's any workable material in there. Using my bandsaw, I'm going to shave 2 flat sections on this piece so that we can hold it straight up against the fence here, and then just start shaving really thin slices until a bookmark piece reveals itself. Now, if your branch is really round, it's much safer to start by flattening one side using something like a benchtop sander or even a hatchet or just anything. You want as flat a surface as possible touching the table, because if it's too round, it might roll on you and pull your hand into the blade, and that's no good. Also, I like the final bookmark to have a live edge side to it, so I always try to leave at least half of the piece uncut. All right, it's already clear this mystery wood is beautiful. There's this super deep red color to it. The grain is all swirly and interesting, but it's also clear it's really, really delicate and beat up, so I'm getting a bit nervous for the structural integrity of our final bookmark. Okay, so my bandsaw is kind of not great, and I'm not able to get super thin slices on it very well, so I basically cut as thin as I feel I can, and then move on over to my benchtop sander. Gripping one end super tight, I then just gently press down on the top and carefully remove material bit by bit until I've sanded it down to something thin enough to feel like it's going to fit inside of a book without, being this super thick, obnoxious wood bookmark. We don't want that. I then like to finish sanding by hand up through a higher grit, 400, 600 grit, whatever floats your boat. Although my worries were clearly justified because through each step of this entire process, eventually every bookmark I made from this piece of wood had quite a few big chunks break off. But we've still got some wood here, so let's complete the job by adding a finish. There are a few finishes that would work for this project. A wipe-on polyurethane would work really nice, but I really want to see oil bring life out of this wood, and that's what I'm going to go with here. And yeah, look at this. A note about using oil though, make sure to use one that's going to fully cure, like boiled linseed or tung oil. A mineral oil-based finish is going to leach out onto the pages. And look at this. Look what was hiding under all that dirt and weathering floated down that river. I can't get over how fun it is to grab a mystery piece of trash wood and see what's inside. It's a real beauty, but honestly, it's just a little too stubby for this larger book that I have, and it does feel like it's going to break apart at any minute, so... here we are, back at that driftwood pile, and clearly there were two branches calling for me in there because this one right here, it's undeniable. It wants to be a bookmark too. Also, this time I can definitely tell what this wood is. This came from a tamarisk tree, which is a highly invasive species brought here for erosion control in the 1800s, and is now choking off rivers all over the West, so I'm happy to clear a dead piece of it out of here and make it into something useful. Back to the bandsaw, and I can already tell this is a much stronger piece of wood. It's going to give us a lot of really clean slices to work with. And it's going to look really cool too. It's got all those little burls on there. I'm feeling super confident. Again, same process here. Flatten off two sides of the branch and then start making slices. Take those slices over to the benchtop sander and sand them down. If they get caught on the belt and fly through your hands like a missile, just tell everyone you're stress testing the wood. And since this one is still fine, we can say that it passed that test with flying colors. Literally. Finish hand sanding, nothing breaking off so far. And now let's add the finish and watch that grain pop. Another winner here. Look at all these cool, interesting colors, the grain swirling in there. We've got all those little burls, even one on the live edge. I think in some of that burl grain, I'm even spotting a little bit of bookmark chatoyancy. And some of you just wanted me to use a piece of paper. Come on. All that's left now is to just remove whatever temporary bookmark you've landed on and replace it with your wooden bookmark. Works like a charm, and added bonus, even if I accidentally try to eat it, I fail. It's not edible. And there you have it, the definitive guide to making a wooden bookmark. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time when we find out what's in that pile.